going on, guys? Welcome back to Bowls Deep Fishing. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Today we are going to be installing a new flex drive on a Jackson Coosa FD. Stay tuned.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah.
Alright guys, so here she is. Real quick, so last time I was out on my Coosa FD, I started to hear some slight grinding in my upper unit of my Coosa FD, of my flex drive. So I gave Jackson a call. They were very, very helpful. They didn't want to tell me how to break it all down and try to fix that small issue, so they just decided to go ahead and ship me a brand new upper unit and a brand new lower unit. So today I'm going to be installing the lower unit and the upper unit on the Coosa FD. So real quick, it's packaged very well. So the few things I do have is obviously the lower unit, brand spanking new. Set that right there. And then also I have the upper unit right here. Got some weight to it. But basically, guys, from what I've understand, it's pretty cut and dry. There are 6 bolts for the lower unit. That's already in the Coosa FD. You just loosen up those bolts or take those bolts out, and then you just drop the lower unit back into the kayak and then tighten those 6 bolts back. But then one thing I have learned really with all pedal drive systems is on the crank arms itself. Okay, on the crank arms itself, you need to, one, look at the crank arms, see which side of the drive it goes on, either left or right. And then also you need to crank down whenever you go to attach these bolts to the crank arms. You need to crank these suckers down as hard as you can get them tight. And then when you think they're tight enough, you try to tighten them a little bit more. Because it's crazy, and I guess it's the way you pedal, but whenever you pedal, not so much the right pedal, but the left pedal, I guess it's kind of going in that left motion, it's loosening up that bolt as you crank your pedal drive. So that's one thing I have learned, not only on the FD or the flex drive, but on my overdrive system from Feel Free. Had the same the same exact thing happen. That left pedal was just it just didn't want to stay tight. But right here, I'm just going to go ahead and install the crank arms on the flex drive itself. And there should be a label or engraved on it. Let's see. Doesn't say on that one. Usually they have like something engraved in it or a sticker. I guess this one doesn't, so I guess I'm shooting off the hip here. Wait. Oh, yeah, it's down in the groove itself. This is the right one, so it's going to go on the right side. And then, if I can get it on there. And then this one's going to be the left one. Oh, and whenever you are putting on your pedals, guys, I made this mistake on my overdrive. Make sure they are diagonal with each other. They're not straight, because they don't, it's not like a mountain bike where you can, back it up to get it, how you want it. But make sure they are sitting just like that, diagonal, on the drive system itself. And you think it's the stupidest thing, but I'm telling you, everyone will forget it. I can promise you that. So I'm just going to go ahead and start hand tightening these down in here, and they go ahead and send you a Allen wrench to tighten them all the way. One thing I have noticed though is if you try to scoot them up on the bar itself, try to get them on there as tight as you can. Then you go ahead and crank them on down with the screws. It seems like they stay a little bit better. But I always keep a extra Allen wrench on the water, always, because there's been times, and I mean it even happened last time, that the crank arm it came loose, and so I had to tighten it there on the water because you don't want to be you know down the river or way down the lake away from your vehicle and your crank arm goes loose, and then you lose a crank, then you'd be paddling, which is fine for me, but it's just better just to, and then also if it does pop off, you can lose your screw and lose your pieces, so you definitely don't want to do that. So now I'm just going to sit here, and I'll probably jack something up, probably fall over. Now seriously, I'm going to crank it down till I can't crank it no more, and then I'm seriously going to try to crank it down more after that. Alright, left one is done, and then probably when I get it into the drive where it's kind of sitting up like that, I'll go ahead and attempt to crank them down even more. I have a flat surface, but it's not wanting to sit flat. Woo! Could have been a bad day. Let's do this. Good enough. So that's pretty much done. Like I said, I am gonna tighten them down once I get them back into the drive. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the boat set up where I can go ahead and install the lower unit into the kayak. So stay tuned, guys. Alright guys, so I'm back. The first thing you want to do before you can actually get down to the lower unit itself is you want to remove your upper unit, which is pretty cut and dry. You just unloosen the little thumb screws that holds the upper unit on there, and then you can better access your lower unit. Another thing you need to do is with the 2018 models, I believe so, the track system goes all the way across the upper or the front part of the lower unit. And as you see with my new lower unit, the track system, there's already a track system built in place. So I believe the newer models from 2018 and above, there was actually a break in the track system that will allow you to get it down in there. I may even have to cut my track system. I may have to. We'll figure that out as we go. So no, actually, all I gotta do is just remove that track, and then it'll run flush right straight across it. So really doesn't matter, but you know what? We'll figure it out. Take that off, and I keep losing that Allen wrench. Was it that one? No. What's this one? Dadgummit. So basically right now I'm just loosening the screws that hold the track system in. And guys, I've always been told you never want to use an electric drill to do this type of stuff because you can always strip out the inner threads. I have used them before, but you got to put it on a very slow and low setting. And whenever it starts to get really tight, you just got to stop. You got to stop. You got to lay off the trigger. It's going to be interesting to figure out how, to install this. So, look, I just removed the track. I got to remove this track in the lower unit for my 2018 model. That sucker's in there tight, I bet. Oh, yeah. Go. I know you can't see me doing this, but I'm just removing that one track that was on the lower unit when it got shipped to me. I'm just removing that one to get it off because with mine, my track goes all the way across. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get 11mm socket, and then you're gonna unscrew the 6 screws that actually hold the lower unit in place. And do not lose them because they did not send new screws, so you have to reuse these, which won't be a problem. Just don't lose none of the washers or the screws itself, or bolts, whatever you want to call them. Alright guys, so I got the 6 screws loosened up, or not loosened up, I got them taken out. So now I'm going to remove the lower unit, and it should come out fairly smooth. Yep. So right there is the old lower unit, and yes, I am going to keep this double-bladed upgraded propeller in case mine breaks, because they did on the new lower unit. I believe on all new units and new boats that are coming out, they will go ahead and have that upgrade on there. So just food for thought. Set that to the side. Woo. Then I'm going to clean up under the drive itself because it's quite dirty. So let me clean all this stuff off before I install a new one, so I'll get back to you real soon. Alright guys, so I've went ahead and cleaned up under the lower unit that was there, and it was quite nasty, to say the least. I guess dirt and sand and everything has gotten down in between the lower unit. But you know, I went ahead and checked all the threaded holes. I mean, everything still looks good. So whenever I go to install or put the screws back in the lower unit, I need to be very careful not to over tighten them. From what I've read and what I've researched is you can over tighten these bolts, and you don't want to do that because then it'll just spin constantly and constantly. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the new lower into the boat itself. She's back in there, so then I'm gonna go ahead and put my bolts back into it. And like I said, guys, do not over tighten these bolts or it's gonna be bad news. Alright guys, so I got the drive back into the boat itself, and so I'm going to go ahead and place my track back on it, make sure my holes line up. Sure it drops down in there. There we go. Got the drill out because I wanted to get these, you know, as tight as I can without stripping them. And I learned something very valuable. So if you have a 2018 model and then you get a new upgraded lower unit, the small bolt that holds it to the track is a lot smaller than the one that, I know you can't see that for jack, but it's probably about, I don't know, quarter of an inch smaller. And because I was sitting there trying to get this sucker in there and it just wasn't wanting to move. But what was happening was I was tightening it down and it was hitting the base of the drive. Because it's like a T-bolt that's actually in that drive. So pretty cool how that works. But glad I figured it out. I'm glad I didn't keep pushing, because then that could have been bad. Did you hear my drill click? I got it on lower setting because I do not want to strip these out. So that's definitely something to consider whenever you're installing these back into your kayak or back into the drive. Alright, so the track is completely tight. Let me get my new drive. Let's give her old testing rig right there. Alright, drop my thumb screws in. Boom. Shut up. Gets in nice and flush and smooth. Tap the thumb screws down. There we go, right there. And I did talk to Charlie. He's the one who helped me out, Charlie, over at Jackson Kayaks, and he did say that it will take about, because he got a new drive unit in his Coosa, and it took about 6 to 8 miles to really break it in. And he says if it's still making that sound, and I'm dropping stuff off my kayak back there, if it's still making that sound after, but I can already feel it just by turning it here, it's starting to loosen itself up. He said if there still is grinding or anything after that 6 to 8 miles, because that'll give it time to break in, just give him a call back and he'll hook me up again. So, and he'll take care of everything. But guys, that's pretty much it. That is basically how to install or install a new upper and lower unit in the flex drive on a Coosa FD. I hope you enjoy this stuff. If you do like this kind of videos and these types of installs, please drop a comment in the comment section below and let me know, guys. And guys, going over to Bowls Deep Fishing on Instagram, Bowls Deep Fishing on Facebook, write me DMs there, reach out to me there, follow me there, and that's where I'm putting out a lot of my content, guys. So I hope you enjoy this. Stay tuned. I got some more stuff coming today, guys. Thank y'all for watching. Stay classy. Keep them tight lines. Deuces.